How do everybody? I hope you've all had a lovely bank holiday weekend. I certainly did. I hope you're all feeling well rested and you've been back at it again today at work or whatever else it is that you may do after a bank holiday. Anyway, I've got quite a good story here for today, and for those of you who've been living under a rock for the past, well, at least a year with this story, I'll just give you a quick update. It's in reference to the post office scandal that's been going on and the Horizon IT infrastructure, basically, which was saying that the sub postmasters, or for people who don't understand who they are, they're basically the people who actually own the post office franchises where you go and take your letters and you can pick parcels up and things like that. They were basically getting shafted by the system because the system was saying that they owed money when they didn't, and the post office basically covered it up, allegedly up to this point anyway. So the interesting part is, though, is that it has been, at this point, been an inquiry going into it, but now the police are getting involved and it's becoming a criminal investigation. And I believe it's not just the main woman, the head of the post office, who's being investigated either. They don't just want to simply make her a scapegoat and brush the rest of it under the carpet. I think it's going to be a full investigation of the entire system and any ancillaries on the outside. So this could also include, I think it's Fujitsu. We'll probably find out in this. I may be wrong on Fujitsu, but there's a big IT company anyway. And I think even civil servants and things may be getting dragged into this as well, and damn right, I hope so. This could open a real can of worms and hopefully start opening investigations into other organisations as well, and institutions of the government and the state who are basically acting as though the law does not apply to them. Anyway, let's get on with this. So, Post Office Horizon IT scandal. 80 detectives across UK set to investigate. The public inquiry into why more than 700, yes, that is correct, 700 sub-postmasters were wrongly convicted is not expected to publish its final report until autumn 2025, meaning any potential criminal charges may not be filed until 26 at the earliest. And for those of you who aren't quite certain about this as well, a big problem that they've had with this is that up until now the post office have been doing their own investigations and their own private prosecutions. I think it's even been outside of the actual court system as well. So and people haven't even been allowed to have legal representation when they've been going to these hearings as well. It's been absolutely scandalous what's happened with this. Just absolutely crazy. So the criminal investigation into the post office scandal is to be expanded, with 80 detectives set to be involved. The Met Police started examining possible offences, including perjury and perverting the course of justice, in January 2020. This, to me, and I know I'm going to sound like a broken record here, this to me is a great example for bringing back flogging and executions. People might say, whoa, that's extreme, isn't it? Well, no, I don't, because what these people have done is they've actually destroyed people's lives and reputations. Families have had to change their names. Kids have had to be taken out of school because they were getting bullied so bad. You know, there's been several of these sub-postmasters who've ended up terminating their own existence because of what's happened to them. You know, these people being the head, you know, owning the local post office, they, in some regards, could have been the centre of a community, and their actual reputation and standing within those communities is just absolutely in tatters. And those relationships that they would have had with people being, you can't repair that. The damage is done, because unfortunately, even though they have been exonerated, you know, that people all have said what they've said to them in the past, and there'll have been arguments had with them in the street and all this other stuff. You know, this will driven people insane. You know, people have bankrupted themselves paying the legal expenses and the legal fees and trying to repay the money they didn't owe the post office as well. It's just absolutely scandalous that this has been allowed to happen, and there is no amount of compensation that can repay these people and what they've been through. And this is why I think that they do need to start considering bringing back things like flogging, and especially for the top people in this. I do believe that they should face the gallows for this, because this is just, they've destroyed people's lives, and it's wholly unacceptable. And I'm afraid even going to prison isn't enough as far as I'm concerned. This genuinely, as far as I believe, is flogging material at the very least. Absolutely, they should be flogged. This is now widening to forces across the UK as a public inquiry into the scandal progresses. I mean, this again is very reminiscent as well of the grooming gang scandal. Just the level of corruption, and there's been no criminal investigations into that yet, as of yet. Not one single person has been held accountable for up to the potential 1 million girls who were raped in this country, due to the institutional cover-up and even persecution of the victims and the families. That is another scandal as well. But this is very reminiscent of that, what's happened here. Hundreds of sub-postmasters were wrongly convicted of theft and false accounting because of a faulty IT system called Horizon. Met Commander Stephen Claim, and by the way, Horizon was brought in by Tony Blair. So although everybody's blaming the Tories for this, and I do to a certain degree, this was brought in by the previous Labour government. Horizon. I don't think it got implemented when Labour were in power, but it was certainly the process of Horizon coming in was with Tony Blair's government. Met Commander Stephen Clayman, who is overseeing the investigation, said officers understood the widespread and devastating impact of the scandal. He added, a team of detectives has been painstakingly working through millions of documents manually with the help of specialist software in parallel with the public inquiry. This is very time consuming and we cannot cut corners and risk missing evidence. I mean, the fact that getting 80 officers on this tells you just how big of a case this is anyway. I mean, obviously with it being the post office, it is going to be huge. But I mean, I think I'm plucking numbers out of thin area, but I'm almost certain that when you have murder cases going on, you're looking at maybe like 5 to 10 people on a murder case. So that's just to give you the actual specifics of how big this really is. You know, it's huge. This is absolutely massive. It's going to be so complicated, this case. It's going to be unbelievable. And I just hope, I really, really do hope that we start seeing really serious changes in our country because of this, because this has just been, it's been like the Wild West with the way they've been operating this. Given the significant scale of the investigation, it has been agreed by the National Police Chiefs Council that the next phase of the investigation will be a national policing effort coordinated by the Met with the pursuit of justice at its heart. We do not underestimate the seriousness of the task at hand, and we are determined to carry out full investigation with independence, precision and integrity. The post office and Fujitsu, which developed the Horizon software, have been under police investigation for over 4 years following a referral from the Director of Public Prosecutions. However, a final charging decision can only be made once the public inquiry reaches its conclusion. And while hearings are set to conclude later this year, a final report may not only be published until late 2025. According to The Guardian, officers have asked the government for $6.75 million to fund their expanded investigation. And I absolutely believe that the government should grant them every single penny of that. This cannot be left to sit. And by all means, I don't know her name, but the lady who's in charge of the post office, she really does need raking over the coals for this. However, as was said earlier, she should not be made a scapegoat for it all. There are going to be lots and lots of other people who have been involved in this and are fully well known, not only in the post office, but also in Fujitsu and also civil servants, and who knows what other ancillary organisations that may be sort of interconnected within this web of deceit, cover-up and basically just scumbaggery. In my opinion, what this comes down to is people wanting to protect the reputation of the post office and Fujitsu above protecting people's lives, rather than admitting that there's a problem with the system and, you know, maybe having a bit of a hoo-ha and the newspapers having a bit of a field day with it. They've gone instead with destroying people's lives, even pushing people to unfortunately making decisions that can't be taken back. Just terrible, absolutely shocking, and these people deserve everything that they get. A bit of a shorter video tonight. I'll link the article below. Please do read it yourself, look into it yourself. Don't just go with what I'm saying. Obviously, I've got my own opinions. I could be wrong in what they are. I don't believe I'm wrong, but please do make your own minds up and read all the information yourself, you know. But if you have found that interesting, you've liked it, you found it informative, any of that other good stuff, please do like, subscribe, and please, please, please do put comments below. I love reading people's comments, even if you don't agree with me. I'm not a closed book. I am willing to change my mind if your arguments are strong enough. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you and goodbye.